श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनी व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Today we begin with this short, profound and very interesting Upanishad of just 35 mantras belonging to the Samaveda called the Kena Upanishad. Now, before we begin the study of Upanishad, it is useful to understand the source of the Upanishad. Now, we all know that the Upanishads have their source in the Vedas, the Chatur Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana Vedas, and which are considered the oldest scriptures today. Why oldest? Because there is no author. It is not born of a human intellect. The Vedas are the divine revelations by Ishvara in the minds of the rishis and sages in their deep meditations. And what may be the purpose of manifesting the Vedas? The Vedas are like a guidebook, a source book, like a user manual to guide the humanity in the fulfillment of the Chaturvidhaha Purusharthas. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Now we know Artha, pursuit, is the fulfillment of whatever is needed for the sake of security. We all need security because it will remove some dukkha. So security in the form of wealth, family, a status, a job and a property, home, possessions, all this comes under the Artha pursuit. Then Artha pursued by itself is meaningless because there is the Kama pursuit. The Kama is the pursuit of happiness and pleasure. Now we all need to have vacations, we have relationships, we derive some ananda in such pursuits of Kama. So Artha and Kama pursuits generally go together. Then there is the Dharma pursuit, and Dharma we know is the acquisition of that invisible wealth called punyam. So the Vedas prescribe a certain way of life, yajna, dana, and tapas, devotion to Ishvara, which will grant punyam. Now what for is that punyam? If it is asked, it will translate to a favorable situation in my life, either here or hereafter in some future janma. Now these three Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha and Kama, are found in the Purva Bhaga of the Vedas, also called as Karma Kanda, voluminous. And we can easily understand how these pursuits are karma-centered. One has to do something for gaining that result. Now, the very same Veda, which talks about this legitimate pursuit of Dharma, Artha, Kama, also points out what? Their limitations. How limited they are, how finite they are. So then the Shastra tells us the threefold limitations. The first is that the karmas are what? Dukkha Mishritam. Dukkha Mishritam means any activity, you want to acquire anything. We have to get loans and then pay off the EMIs, then maintain the position. So to acquire anything in life, effort is involved. And we know from the Bhagavad Gita, whatever I desire and work for, it is not guaranteed that I will obtain it. So there is unpredictability and instability also in these pursuits. And even if I get what I work for, then there is the maintenance costs will come. Then there is the fear of loss is there. So all then comes with a price. And Shastra says this is the dukkha. Then the second one is that are we satisfied permanently when we fulfill our desires? The answer is definitely no. So fulfilling a desire in these categories, dharma, artha, kama, is somewhat like adding fuel to the fire. It will only glow brighter. So when I fulfill one or two desires, 10 more come up. So the desires seem to be exponentially increasing. So atriptikaram is the nature of these pursuits. They do not give me lasting fulfillment. And then finally, bandhakaram. Bandhakaram is that once I have these possessions or whatever desired for, then there is an emotional dependence. Yeah, and they keep me bound to the samsara chakra. Do we not see that now? Now that we have mobile, smartphones, and air conditioners and cars and all these possessions, these were luxuries at one point of time, and now they become necessities. We cannot do without them. So, for all these reasons, the Vedas say that there is, finiteness to all this, and they are limited. So, what did the Vedas say about these? Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena, tyagi, naike, amritattva, manashuhu. That there is another pursuit which is the real purpose of life, and that is why it is called Parama Purushartha or the Moksha Purushartha. Now, moksha stems from the dhatu much, and much is to be free. And so, freedom from what I do not want, freedom from this constant seeking and fulfilling and re-seeking is what Moksha Purushartha is all about. Now, what should I do for that Moksha Purushartha? So there, Shastra says it is not about doing anything. Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena, tyagena. It is only by renunciation, and tyagena, we have to understand it as jnanena, by knowledge alone, is the fourth and the final Purushartha to be fulfilled. So, the first three Purusharthas are in the Purva Bhaga of the Vedas called Karma Kanda, and where there are the sadhanas to acquire the sadhya, desired ends, whereas the fourth Purushartha is in the Upanishad section, which is the Vedasya Antabhaga, the end portion of the Vedas, also called as Upanishad Jnana Kanda. Now, what must I do for this Purushartha? Here also Shastra says, Saha Gurumeva Vigachet Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Samitpani. Even Bhagavad Gita, Tat Vidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshinaha. So, in order to gain this knowledge, this liberating knowledge, and which is what the Moksha Purushartha is all about, I have to approach a guru, and the guru is going to unfold a shastra like Kena Upanishad, and which will reveal something that is to be known, reveal the nature of the seeker as that Purnatvam. So that is the role of this Upanishad. Now, every Upanishad is about dialogues. There is a guru and there is a shishya. And the Chandogya Upanishad, very famous for the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, the father himself is the guru, and the son, Shvetaketu, is the shishya. Then Brihadaranyaka is the husband, Yagnivalkya is the guru, and Maitreyi is the shishya, the wife. So there are different guru and shishya, friends. Krishna was a friend of Arjuna. There also we have. In this Kena Upanishad, also there is a shishya and a guru, but their names are not known. Many texts we will find that we don't know anything about the author. And so there is no copyright issue. It is all the knowledge does not belong to any person. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam. It is just this Jnana Ganga Pravaha which is flowing down from Adi Bhagavan. So that is why this Vedas or the Upanishads are all called Shabda Pramana or Apaurusheya Pramana. Apaurusheya is not coming from a human intellect. So that is the Shruti, which has the absolute authority. Then we find the content of the Shruti made somewhat easy in the secondary scriptures like Itihasa, Mahabharata, and Ramayana, then the Smriti like Bhagavad Gita, and finally the Puranas by Vedavyasa. Now, the next is, if it is asked, how can this Upanishad, the books bless me with knowledge? So there, Shankaracharya says that Upanishad Shabdena Vidya iti Uchyati. The very meaning of Upanishad means self-knowledge. And very beautifully, Adi Shankaracharya reveals the meaning of Upanishad, which we will see now. Now, Upanishad Shabdena Vidyadi Uchyati, Upanishad means knowledge. Now, what kind of knowledge, if it is asked, then the Shastra says what? Mundaka, we have seen that. Dve vidye veditavye, paracha aparacha. There are two kinds of knowledge. Apara knowledge is the knowledge which is centered on the world. Any worldly knowledge, very useful. Like the knowledge of language, like English. If you don't know English, we cannot attend the Zoom session. Then the knowledge of accounting, cooking, driving, Zoom technology, anything that will secure me a comfortable, relatively peaceful and easy life is Apara Vidya, says the Guru Angiras to Shaunaka in the Mundaka Upanishad. Then what is Para Vidya? Para is higher, Apara is lesser, lower. Paravidya is yaya tat aksharam brahma adigamyate. That by which the Paravidya, Moksha Vidya, Raja Vidya, Dahara Vidya, that Vidya is gained is alone Paravidya. And that is the content of the Upanishads, the end portion of the Vedas. Now let us look at the word Upanishad. We all know Upa and Ni are two Upasargas. Upasarga means prefix in Sanskrit. And Shad here is the Dhatu. Actually, Shad is actually Sad. That Sakara becomes Shakara because of a Sandhi rule. Now, that Sad has got several meanings, but first let us look at Upa. Upa means close proximity. Yeah, close proximity. And here it means when one approaches a Guru. Yeah, approaches a Guru, going near a Guru, only we will get access to this knowledge. Another meaning Shankaracharya gives is what is closest to us? Atma, oneself, there is absolutely no gap. So that is another meaning also. The Atma Tattvam is the closest. Those are the two meanings given for Upa. Then Ni, also there are two meanings. One is Nischayena. Nischayena means with certainty. Yeah, with certainty and a well-ascertained knowledge. That is with commitment. When I approach the Guru, definitely this knowledge will be gained. Then let us come to the Shad, the root. So here Shankaracharya gives three meanings. That is Visharana, Gati and Avasadana. Now Visharana is to destroy. Yeah. And Gati is to lead. To lead, and Avasadana is to loosen. Okay. Now, loosen. See, when one Shishya approaches the Guru is not going to give the Mahavakya Tattvamasi right away. Tattvamasi. It will make no sense. So what the Guru has to do, has to loosen and shake out the impurities of the Shishya. Just like when you want to uproot a big tree or something, first one has to loosen the ground soil. Yeah, make it easy. Loosen the soil and then uproot. So here the loosening part is the removal of the tendencies that are obstructing the mind, the rajas and the tamas, the raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, the attachments. That is called the avasadana process. And then what Gati? Gati means movement. It's a movement verb. But here there is no real movement. There is an as though movement from asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityoma amritan gamaya. From darkness, tamas to sattva light, from mortality to amritatvam, yeah, and that is the movement meant here. So the Guru, of course, with the help of the Shastra, will take the Shishya from a lesser understanding to a higher understanding. Gamayati. And then finally what? Visharana is the uprooting of this avidya, self-ignorance, which will end the bondage of samsara. So finally, what does Upanishad mean? Upanishad is the well-ascertained knowledge, assimilated knowledge, also called Vijnanam, that puts an end to the bondage of samsara by approaching a Guru. That is the meaning of Upanishad. Now, let us come to the Kena Upanishad itself. And Kena Upanishad is, one of the 10 major Upanishads. Yeah, you all know what is major and minor. There are 10 major Upanishads attributed to, for which Adi Shankaracharya has written a bhashya, a commentary. And these 10 Upanishads are very nicely, strung in a verse form. I will chant it for you. Ishakena katha prashna mundamandukya tittari aitareyam cha chandokyam brihadaranyakam tatha. Ishakena katha prashna mundamandukya tittari aitareyam cha chandokyam brihadaranyakam tatha. How many have we done so far of these? Katha, Isha, some of us, and Mundaka. Now, we have also done the Kaivalya Upanishad, but it is not in this list. Yeah, and it belongs to the Atharvana Veda. We saw that. So, the content-wise, they're all very important, very profound. But these 10 Upanishads have been commented upon by Adi Shankaracharya. Why? Because these 10 Upanishads are also, borrowed and borrowed by Vedavyasa for the Brahma Sutras. So Brahma Sutras are the Nyaya Granthas, the book of logic, logically analyzing the Paramatatvam. There we will find many quotations. These mantras in the 10 Upanishads are mentioned in the Brahma Sutras. And Adi Shankaracharya has written a bhashya in the same order. Yeah, Isha, Kena are short Upanishads. Then Katha, we saw the story of Nachiketa and Yamadharmaraja. Prashna is where, 6 students ask 6 questions to a Guru. Then Mundaka, the dialogue between Angiras and Shaunaka. Mandukya is the shortest, perhaps, Upanishad, just 12 or 18 mantras, very profound, where the Avasthatraya Sakshi is talked about. Then Tittari is actually short for Taittiriya Upanishad. And Aitareyam and Chandogyam, and then finally Brihat Aranyakam. Brihat Aranyakam is probably the largest Upanishad. So the Kena Upanishad is found in the Samaveda. The Samaveda has beautiful musical mantras. And when we hear in the temples, and then we can appreciate those Sama mantras. Now, Kena Upanishad derives its name from the very first word of the mantra. Kene shitam preshitam patati manaha. Very similar to Isha Upanishad. Isha vasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagat jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjitaha. We just saw that in Manjakudi camp, the Isha Upanishad. So, Kena is a short Upanishad of 4 chapters, Khandas they're called, and 35 mantras. And it has a special feature because not only has Adi Shankaracharya written a bhashya on Kena, but Shankaracharya has written 2 bhashyas. One is called Padabhashya. Padabhashya means written a commentary on every word of the mantras. And the second bhashya is Vakya Bhashya. Vakya is sentence by sentence also. Shankaracharya analyzes the Kena Upanishad mantras. And this has not been done for any other Upanishad except Kena. So it is also found in one shakha called Talvakara shakha of the Samaveda. Okay? So that is a little bit about the Kena Upanishad. Now let us go to the Shanti Patha of this Upanishad. Now we all know that every Upanishad begins with a Shanti Patha. Yeah. When we did the Katha Upanishad, which belongs to the Krishna Yajurveda, what was the Shanti Patha? Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, right? Then the Isha Upanishad belongs to the Shukla Yajurveda, and there the Shanti Patha is Purnamadav Purnamidam Purna. Kaivalya belongs to the Atharvana Veda, and there the Shanti Patha is Bhadram Karnebhi Shrinu Devaha. So all the Upanishads belonging to one Veda will have the same Shanti Patha, and all the Shishyas generally, not generally, always will chant the Shanti Patha before the study and sometimes also after the study of the Upanishad. Now, why do we chant Shanti Patha? Very clear, for Vigna Nivaranam, that is to remove the obstacles and to secure the grace of Ishvara and Shastra for a successful study of this Upanishad. And we all know how Upanishad is a little bit abstract and can be also dense. So I need the grace of Ishvara to focus my mind on this Upanishad. And hence we have the Shanti Patha. Now we will chant the Shanti Patha, and then I will explain word by word and line by line the meaning of this Shanti Patha. Om Apyayantu mamangani vak pranaschakshushrotramadho balamindriyani cha sarvani. Om Apyayantu mamangani vak pranaschakshushrotramadho balamindriyani cha sarvani. Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. Mama Brahma Nirakarot. Mama Brahma Nirakarot. Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu. Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu. Tadatmani nirateya upanishadsu dharmaha. Tadatmani nirateya upanishadsu dharmas. Te mai santu. Te mai santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is the Shanti Patha, where the Shishya is asking for three main things. What are they? We are going to see. Apyayantu mama angani. Apyayantu means may they grow in strength. May they become healthy and vigorous. Mama angani, my limbs. That is Thula and Sukshma Shariram. May they be healthy and enjoy vigorous, good health. And what are the angani? Vak, Prana, Chakshu, Shrotram. Vak is the organ of speech, and Prana, the vital life force, Chakshu, eyes, and Shrotram is the hearing aid. So it's meant for both, the teacher also. The teacher has to communicate properly, so that Vak blessing should be there for the teacher, and for the students There should be the capacity to grasp and listen properly. Listen properly without a biased mind. So Swamiji will say, for such a deep study, this is called Pujita Vichara, sacred study, one needs to have an open, trusting mind. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. So may my angani, that is vak, prana, chakshu, shrotram, indriyam, atha, bala, indriyani cha sarvani, and all the other organs also. Dasha indriyani and all the pancha pranas and the stula shariram, all of them, may the balam, the strength, apyayantu, may they grow vigorous. That is, may I enjoy good health. Now, may I not fall asleep in any class. I may be tired and some distraction may come in the mind. Even in the 1 hour Zoom session, if we analyze our mind, one cannot stay very focused beyond 30-35 minutes. The mind will go out and come back again. So that is why I say one must come early, do some pranayama or japam. So then we focus the mind and we're able to hold that attention span. So here the student is praying for all this. Mama Angani Apyayantu, may the balam be vigorous. Then Sarvam Brahma Aupanishadam. Now Aupanishadam means that which is born of Upanishad. From the Upanishad is called Aupanishadam. So here Brahma Aupanishadam means that Sarvam, everything is what? Everything is Brahma. And that is known to come from the Upanishad. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutam. That is, everything is a manifestation of Brahmatattva. The bodies, the minds, the sense organs, the pursuit, everything is really Brahma. So that is the meaning of Sarva Brahma Upanishadam. Then Ma Aham Brahma Nirakuryam. Now let's look at the word Ma. Ma has several meanings, as you know. Ma means Mahalakshmi. Ma means me, Mam. And Ma means the indeclinable not, do not. Ma kuru dhanajana yauvanagarvam vajagovindam Ma. So here, Ma aham brahma nirakuryam. Here it is in the sense of the not. May I not nirakuryam, reject Brahma. That means what? May I not turn away from this pursuit. May I have Shraddha, commitment towards the Brahma Vidya, and may I not deny this opportunity to gain this Vidya. Ma aham Brahma nirakuryam. So we know how the mind will distract us from a good pursuit. So the mind will always choose the path of least resistance. If I want to get up early in the morning, it will say, no, press the snooze alarm, go back to sleep. Yeah, and if I have to choose between, some enjoyable thing and some satsanga, it may vote for the movie instead of satsanga. So here, the Shishya, knowing that, this is the way of the mind. He says, Ma aham brahma nirakuryam. May I not deny or reject this, this Brahma Vidya. Then, Ma Brahma Nirakaro. There are two Ma's there. So there we have to understand it as, may Brahma not deny me. So, Ma Brahma Nirakarot. Yeah. Now, see, Brahma Tattvam is not so biased that it will bless certain Shishyas and then deny others. That's not the meaning here. That means the Brahma Tattvam will choose, Atma will choose to reveal itself to the Shishya who does not deny or reject it. That is, when I show Mumukshatvam and commitment, then the Brahma will reveal its nature to me. But if I turn away and reject and deny this knowledge, then that will also remain like a closed book for me. That will not reveal itself. That is the meaning. Ma Brahma Nirakaro. Then the next is Anirakaranam Astu. Now, Nirakarana means rejection. Okay, denial. So anirakarana will be the opposite, that is acceptance. So may there be, non-rejection or acceptance for me. Anirakaranam astu. Then again, anirakaranam me astu. That is, again, the same thing is repeated. May I not refuse or reject this higher knowledge and the Shreyo Margaha, and may it open up and reveal itself to me, and may that grace be there, is the fervent prayer of this Shishya. Now, how am I going to deny Brahma? Deny Brahma is to turn away from this pursuit, by ignorance. Ignorance and yielding to the lower mind, the rajasic, tamasic mind. If I give in and do not put in enough effort and commitment, then it is as good as rejecting Brahma. That is meant by nirakaranam. So anirakaranam is, may that not happen. May there be acceptance and a positive pursuit for me. Then what kind of me? Next word. Tada atmani nirate. Nirata means nirantara rata, the one who is ever engaged in this pursuit. And that's me. Tada atmani nirate. Ye. So for me, I am steadfast and committed in this pursuit. Tada atmani nirate what? Ye upanishadsu dharmaha. That is a ye there. So ye means those dharmas which are present in the Upanishads. Now here dharmas will be understood as the values and the attitudes. All the qualifications needed to take up the study of the Upanishads. Ye dharmaha upanishadsu, what? Te mai santu, te mai santu. May they be present in me. May they abide in me. So for emphasis, a repetition is given here. Now we know that, the password to unlock the Upanishads is, how can we enter the domain of Jnanam? Adhikaritvam should be there. Just as I need to have studied in school and then only I can proceed to college and then pass out and go to the university. So too the sadhana chatushtayam adhidharmaha mentioned here, may they abide in me. Through self-effort, of course. I have to put in the self. And sadhana chatushtayam, in short, are the 4 Ds. First D for discrimination, vivekaha. Second D for dispassion, vairagyam. Third D are the 6 disciplines, shamadamadi shakta sampatihi. And finally, desire for liberation, mumukshutva. So here, the Shishya is asking, may they be present in me so that I can enter into this Jnana Marga successfully. Then finally, Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. We know that there is only one Shanti, Swarupa Shanti, but there are 3-fold disturbances. Disturbances can come from Adhyatma, from my own body and mind. I may feel lazy, distracted, tired, headache, body ache. Then second source of disturbance is Adi Bhautika. Internet connectivity may not be there, power failure, or suddenly guests will come. Guests will come and then you have no option but to leave the Zoom session and attend to them. Then finally, there is the Adi Daivika obstacles. That is obstructions coming from my own prarabdha. Something that will prevent me from gaining this knowledge. And so, as Pujya Swamiji says, prayerful living is intelligent living. When we pray, we are doing manasika karma, and definitely that will have a phalam also. So, here is this wonderful prayer by the Shishya for 3 things. First is a healthy, vigorous body and mind. Second is, may I have Shraddha and commitment and Astikya Buddhi to follow the Guru Upadesha. And third is, may I have the Sadhana Chatushtayam, the qualifications and Adhikaritvam to enter into the study. So that is the meaning of this Upanishad. Now, whether we study or not, we can still chant it every day, isn't it? So there are the 10 Dashashanti mantras, 10 traditional, Shanti Pathas, which I have covered for most of you. And we can just chant it every day because we need a healthy body, not only for study, but for role playing and fulfilling our duties, responsibilities, and just to have a clear mind. So these prayers are useful anyway. So I'll just chant it once again and then we'll move on. Om Apyayantu mamangani va pranaschakshushrotramadho balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahmopanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So that was the Shanti invocation prayer. Now let us continue to the first mantra of the Kena Upanishad. And Kena Upanishad opens with, a bang, just as Isha Upanishad. Here also we have a very profound first mantra. And this is a fundamental question asked by the Shishya. So the Shishya asks this question, and that is the first mantra. And in response to the mantra, the whole Upanishad follows, the rest of the mantras. So the first 2 chapters is about the Jnanam, the Upadesha, and the last 2 chapters is about that story, a wonderful story about how, the Devatas, they become very arrogant of their powers. The Agni says, I bless the power of speech, and Surya says, I am blessing the eyesight. None is greater than me. And then how Ishvara, assumes the form of a yaksha and how, subdues their pride. And finally, Uma Devi appears and she is, personifies Brahma Vidya. And then how they are taught a lesson. That is the later portion. So now let us look at the first mantra. Om केनेशितं पतति प्रेषितं मनः ॐ केनेशितं पतति प्रेषितं मनः केन प्राणः प्रथमः प्रैति युक्तः केन प्राणः प्रथमः प्रैति युक्तः केनेशितां वाचमिमां वदन्ति केनेशितां वाचमिमां वदन्ति चक्षुश्रोत्रं क उदेवो युनक्ति चक्षुश्रोत्रं क उदेवो युनक्ति ॐ केनेशितं पतति प्रेषितं मनः केन प्राणः प्रथमः प्रैति युक्तः केनेशितां वाचमिमां वदन्ति चक्षुश्रोत्रं क उदेवो युनक्ति. So let us break the sandhis. Om kena ishitam patati preshitam manaha kena pranaha prathamaha praiti yuktaha kena ishitam vacham imam vadanti chakshuhu shrotram kaha u devo devaha yunakti. So Kena, I told you Kena being the first word of the first mantra is the name of the Upanishad also. And Kena comes from where? Sanskrit students will know this. Kim Shabda. Kaha, kau, kaha, kam, kau, kan, Kena, kabhyam, kaihi. So Kena means by whom. So this is a by whom Upanishad. Kena Upanishad. So the first line says, Kena ishitam patati preshitam manaha. Let's take line by line. Manaha is manas. Yeah. And here there are two verbs, ishitam and preshitam. Preshitam just means prakarshena ishitam. Now ishitam means ish dhatu, willed. Yeah. So the first line says, the Shishya is asking, by whose will kena ishitam patati preshitam manaha. Ishitam is willed, you can say, and preshitam is prompted or even forced. Now, who's being forced here? Shishya says the mind. The mind, how does it land upon objects? Patati, you know. How does manaha patati? Patati means falls, but here in the context it means how does the mind think of something? Land upon objects. Prompted, willed by whom? Now, what an intelligent question. You know? So, the first line says, I'm sitting very quietly, let's say, and suddenly what happens? A memory pops up in my mind, yeah, or I project a thought into the future, yeah, and how do I perceive things around me? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandhan. How is this conscious perception happening? So look at the student. He already knows that the body and mind are inert, jadam, panchabhautikam. Then how can the matter principle be alive and be conscious and perform all these functions? Eyes are receiving forms and colors, ears are receiving sounds, and Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandhan. By whose will? Is there another person with a remote in the hand and commanding the mind to receive the cognitions from the Jnanendriyani? And then how the mind, having received the data from the Jnanendriyani, is issuing responses. It will command the legs, now go there and pluck those flowers. Hands, come on, now grasp this thing. So the Karmendriyani are responding to the mind, and the mind is a supercomputer. Now we know that no hardware and software can function without the power. So a similar situation here. How is the body responding? How is the mind receiving data from the world? How is this interchange happening? And we know the mind from the Tattvabodha has these fourfold functions, right? Chittam, database, manas, the emotional faculty, buddhi, rational faculty, and ahankara is the I notion. So all these, they have their respective domains. So the mind is able to retrieve data from the database and remember things, and it can rationalize, pass a judgment, and it can feel emotions. Yeah. Then who is, enlivening or lighting up the mind to perform these fourfold functions? Yeah? Who is directing the mind is the question here. Then, what is the second line? Kena pranaha prathamaha praiti yukta. Now, let's come to prana. Now, the prana, we know pranavayu is the universal prana, but once it enters our body, what happens? Fivefold. One prana will go in and down, another will go up and out, another one will spread in the chest area or do the digestion as a samana vayu or be the time clock, udana vayu. So, how perfectly ordered one prana performs 5 different physiological functions. Again, kena, praiti, prompted by whom? Prompted by whom does the prana perform all these functions? So, praiti means prakashena eti. Here the verb is eti. Eti means gachati. So, the prana, how does it go inside the lungs and go outside as exhalation or perform the respiration, digestion? And why is it called prathamaha? Prathamaha we'll think is the first, right? But here Shankaracharya gives it the meaning of mukhya. Mukhya means it is the most important force in our body. Yeah. If the prana is not there, the jiva is out, all out. right? So in deep sleep also, what happens? The mind is not functioning, sense organs are not there, body is parked. But what is still functioning? Prana. So prana is doing all the repair work, maintenance, and still active. That is why it is called Pratamaha, Mukhya. It is so important. The baby is born with the prana, it cries. And then at the end of Prarabdha, the last thing to leave is also, the first thing to leave is prana, and that ends the life. So here the question is really of the Shishya, does the mind itself perform all these functions? Is the mind independently conscious, or is somebody else regulating and prompting the mind and the prana? And Shastra gives two examples. One is the magnet. We know that in the presence of a magnet, the iron objects will move, right? They will be attracted. So, is there some authority figure like a magnet which is, making the mind move? Is the Shishya's question. Or Rajavat, like a king. The king, we saw that metaphor in Atmabodha and Kathopanishad. Rajavat, when a Raja, that is any person of authority, has to only sit on a throne and the whole administration happens by the power of that figure. So Shishya is wondering, is there another independently existing authority which is lighting up the mind and the body, the sense organs and the prana to perform their functions? Yeah. By whose command does the prana work? Then the third line is again starting with Kena. Kena ishitam vacham imam vadanti. Vadanti means they speak. Who speak is not mentioned here, but we have to supply. Janaha. Janaha vadanti. People. How do the people speak? These words, imam vacham, ishitam, prompted by whom? You see the crow, kakaha. Why is it called kakaha? Kaka. Because it can only pronounce the word ka, ka, ka. Whereas in the human acoustic system, there are the range of sounds, guttural, palatal, cerebral, dental, labial, all these sounds are possible. But by whose command, impelled by whom do the people speak? Vak indriyam, how does it work? Is there a conscious principle making the organ of speech work? That is the question. And the last line in the first mantra is Chakshuhu Shrotram Kaha U Devaha Yunakti. Devaha. Now the Shishya says, which effulgent Deva, which divine principle is making the eyes and the ear function? Yeah. Yunakti again means directs. So, is there a Devata, is there a divine principle which commands the eyes to see and the ears to hear? And we know this from Tattvabodha that there is a, presiding Devata. Devata for every function in the body, very intelligently allocated, And Vayu Devata is in charge of the Tvak Indriyam, Varuna for the sense of taste, and Surya for the Agni, for the eyes, and Chandrama for the mind. So it looks like the Shishya already knows the answer. So the answer is embedded in the question. What an intelligent question. So once again, Kene Shitam Patati Preshitam Manaha Kena Pranaha Prathama Praiti Yuktaha Kene Shitam Vacham Imam Vadanti Chakshu Shrotram Kaha U Devaha Yunakti. So, by whose will, by whose command, by whose authority, does this Karyakarana Sanghata, the body, the mind, and the senses, how do they act and perform their allocated functions? It's a very loaded verse here. Yeah? And is there an effulgent Devata? Is there an independent conscious being? And we all know the answer. The Guru is going to say, yes, my dear, this body, mind, sense system, is very beautifully assembled together. But it is just the matter principle, and there is an enlivening, independently conscious, existing principle, and that is the Atma Tattvam. Yeah. So the Guru's answer is going to be, of course, Atma Tattvam, and but he answers indirectly. In the second mantra, which we will see next time, the Guru says it is the ear of the ear. There is an eye of the eye. There is a mind of the mind. There is a prana of the prana, which is directing, prompting, and commanding all these organs to work. And why this indirect language is used? Because to show that it is not the ear which listens. It is the divine command. That is why Indriyam is a subtle faculty. Yeah? The faculty that hears when it is prompted by the enlivening principle. And the similar thing with the prana. So when it is willed by the authority, the prana enters the jiva, to perform the functions. And when that purpose is over, the prana is withdrawn. No? So the prana is given a lot of importance. It is called Mukhya Prana. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a story about all the sense organs. All of them are arguing and fighting with each other. The eyes say that, oh, we are the most important sense organ. Why? Because we bring in 50% of the knowledge for the Jivatma through the eyes alone, which is true. 50% of the knowledge enters through our eyes. So a blind person is deprived of 50% of sight, and he has to rely upon the remaining senses. Then the ears say, no, we are listening. Sound is so important, and they're all arguing. Then the prana says, I am the most important. So then how do they decide? Then the eyes say that, okay, we are going to leave the body and take a sabbatical leave for 1 year. So the eyes decide to leave, but the Jivatma can stay on even without eyesight, because other organs are working. So like that, one by one, they leave the body, and the body can continue with some discomfort, but it's fine. But when the prana leaves, then all the organs are highly disturbed. And they say, no, please come back, because the prana vayu is the mukhya vayu. It is the kriya shakti. It is the fuel. It is the driving force. And that is why Shankaracharya interprets that prathamaha word as mukhya prana. So this is how this Kena Upanishad begins, with a bang, very loaded verse. And the student is obviously a sadhana chaturshya sampanna adhikari student, who asks this question that about whether there is a sentient conscious being. Just like Shaunaka also asked Angiras, that what is that one thing knowing which one will know everything in the world? And then Angiras says that is Paravidya. Paravidya is, you will know the most important, significant tattvam, and then everything is as well known. Okay? So we'll stop here for now and chant the Shanti mantras again and conclude. Om Apyayantu mamangani va pranaschakshushrotramatho balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः। पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी। देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः। ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः। सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः। सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु। मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय। तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय। मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते। पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।